Okay, regarding the credit scoring formula, there are 5 components, but there are only 2 main components that really drive credit and determine whether it's good or bad. First, let's take a look at credit utilization. Credit utilization looks at the relationship between the balances that are carried on credit and the limits that were given by the financial organization. So essentially it boils down to this. If those balances are too high relative to the limits, that's considered to be risky behavior. The balances divided by the limits, and is it below the 70% line or not? 70% is sort of the dividing line between people who are relatively safe and those who are becoming a bit more questionable. And now let's take a look at the most important component of the credit scoring formula, that is the payment history. Remember, what is it that financial organizations want? They want to see payments being made as agreed and on time. Remember those important terms, as agreed and on time. What's happening there if the payments are being made as agreed and on time? This is driving the credit score higher. Payment history, it also reflects both current and past payments. So missed payments in the past, if there are enough of them, they can be damaging to credit scores as well. What makes credit bad? I've got 3 things I want to say here. And the first is, if there's any record of a missed payment history in the past. And now this is going to depend on how many missed payments there were, how long ago they occurred, and whether they were caught up, eventually. If we're talking about one missed payment several years ago, that's going to have almost no effect on the credit score. But if we're talking about several missed payments within the last year, that's going to be extremely damaging, and it's probably going to have the account closed down if there's enough of them that happened within a year. Second, and this is where it gets more serious, is enough payments have been missed that the account has actually gone into collections. That is, it's been written off by the original creditor. They've said, we just don't believe this is going to be collectible anymore unless there's some force applied. It's been given that rating of 9 all the way down to the bottom of the scale, and it's been given to a third-party collection agency for further action. And now finally, the last thing is if we have anything else on the credit report, generally in that public records information section, that indicates bad news in the recent past. This is going to include things like bankruptcies, consumer proposals, and so on. Okay, next we're going to be talking about either building or rebuilding credit. If you've had bad credit, then you're rebuilding. And if you're just starting out, then you're just building. So your first rule here, keep your balances low relative to the limits, and you look like you're low risk. Now, if you're building or rebuilding credit, remember you're going to need to have something on your credit report that shows that you are able to make payments as agreed and on time. Okay, remember those words again, as agreed and on time. You keep hearing the same things over and over. It's important for people to realize that there's got to be something that's reporting proper payments to credit bureaus. Now, there's different methods of doing this. So, for example, there are some people that will open up a secured credit card for the purposes of rebuilding credit. That's something that for clients of a credit counseling service, often they are advised to do that. And once they have that secured credit card, they adopt a pattern of using the card and repaying the card over and over again. Use it, pay it, use it, pay it, use it, pay it. And the idea there is they're earning a good credit rating on this account on a monthly basis.